So yes, this diet involves bacon. So I guess this is my once in a while post about food. Really my focus is on eating real food that is minimally processed. So this happens to be organic, non-nitrate cured bacon. But I'm going to make it. I'm going to make a cassoulet that has beans and chicken and pork in it. And really just make sure that the portion size matches what I need in order to feel my body fully eating. I did soak the beans overnight as well in salted water, as they had recommended from the recipe. So this is kind of a low maintenance thing, but it also means that it's actually very economical. And for those that are sensitive to either gluten or dairy, this doesn't have either of those in it. So it's a nice, warm, hearty meal that doesn't have a lot of the things that people worry about, and also is going to be very economical because we're using legs and thighs and things like that instead of the more expensive cuts of meat. So this is about 10 minutes into the rendering process of the bacon. I'm going to cook it down a little bit more because I like crunchy bacon, especially in like bean and meat soup, cassoulet type stuff. So the goal is to cook it very slowly so that it doesn't burn, but you get most of the fat out of it and that it becomes crispy and not soggy. Okay, so it's been about 15 minutes now, and you can see how there's a little bit of foam starting to rise. That means that all that extra fat is now getting crispy. That's where I like to have it. So I'm going to cook it for about 1 more minute. And I'm cooking it on medium-low, so this is taking a nice long time to get as much fat out of there as possible, because really what I'm going for is the flavor of the bacon, and then I'm going to use that grease that is the bottom of the pan, or the fat, to saute and brown all of my chicken and sausage that's going into this. So instead of using butter, I'm using bacon fat. Now I'm frying the chicken with the skins on in the bacon fat. So now I'm frying the chicken thighs, and you'll notice, or maybe you'll notice, that these are actually boneless. So I have the bone-in chicken legs and boneless chicken thighs, because some of the folks that I'm cooking for would prefer their bone off the meat, and because I have kids and family, I want everybody to enjoy it and eat it. I make some with the bones for folks who don't care, and some that are boneless so that everybody eats the same meal, so I'm not some short order chef. So in the recipe from Serious Eats, they're telling you to cook the sausages, and apparently there's a kind of wonderful garlic pork sausage that comes from the part of France where cassoulet comes from. But I am using some, I guess, Polish sausage made by the folks at Louis Finer Meats in Cumberland, Wisconsin, because their stuff is fresh and it's handmade, and that's what I had available. So shout out to Louis. They don't give me any kickbacks. I spend most of my paycheck there every summer, but it's worth it because the meat is awesome. So I added all the onion. I pulled off all the excess oil. I had it kind of in that little cup there. And that's really important because really you want the flavor without any more, because that little half cup is probably, I don't know, 6 to 1,000 calories of energy. So you want flavor but not excessive. And not only that, if you have too much oil, it makes it seem greasy when you're eating it, and you don't want that either. So right now we have the perfect combination. We've got a little bit in the bottom, sauteing what they call the aromatics, the carrots and celery and garlic, in with these onions. And the onions, while it cooks, will basically melt into the beans and meat. And I don't know about you, but again, some of the people I cook for don't like onions, but they like the flavor. So once these onions melt into it, they'll be eating vegetables without knowing it. Haha. I forgot to film this before we dug into it, but everybody thought this was great. So it has like the chicken legs in it, it has the boneless chicken thighs, and it has pieces of sausage. And what they don't realize they're eating is a bunch of antioxidants from the garlic and the onions, and that the beans are high in fiber and very filling. So a serving of this is still less than Big Macs and a fries. In fact, it's probably less than a Big Mac all by itself. Anyway, so there's my my food post for the day. I will post where I got the recipe from Serious Eats. And by the way, love that website. And the reason why I like it is because I used to really like Cooks Illustrated, where they taught you the science behind everything. And I still make stir fry the way they recommended it based off of all their tests. So it appeals to my analytical brain. Anyway, that's it. And by the way, you know, that's just a free plug, no other reason. Talk to you later.